All right, so today is April 1st. It is not the day for fools. It is the day for success. So great to see all of you. I want to, I know that Sheree had this question, and so perhaps some of you are having the question as well. And that is, if you are using Zoom and you want to be able to upload, seeing to you and whoever you're interviewing at a time, if it's okay with you, I am going to show you right now how to do that. Just, I want to have it. I know some of you are doing Zoom meetings and it can be really confusing. So give me just one second here. All right. So you would go to your personal, like where the recording is. And then if you want gallery view, that's where you see everybody. So this would click up under your recordings, shared gallery view. You have to click on shared gallery view. Sorry. And then from that, you will now be able to get a link and share it. But before you do that, you have to go here. Sorry, I have to do one thing. You have to go here. Viewers can download, click that, then hit close, then go to shared screen with gallery view. So if it's gallery view, it's seeing everybody versus speaker view. So I hope that that helps. If you have additional questions, feel free to ask my team and I. So I want to just tell those of you who showed up, congratulations. You know, it's amazing what happens when we fully show up in our lives. And so congratulations to all of you for being here. I want to open it up and first ask, what do you find is the hardest thing that you deal with when considering or looking at connecting? Like when I've given you guys instructions of connect with strategic partners or connect with people, or, you know, like at networking events, connect. What is the biggest challenge? And you can either pop it in the chat section or you can open yourself up and tell me, because I want to make sure, because you guys showed up first, that I hit every single one of your points in this discussion, because your relationship capital is the biggest factor in your financial independence. And your relationship capital is on your ability to connect. No one has any challenges. When do you know that you want them in as a patient versus really focus on the partnership? Okay, that's a great question. Anyone else have challenges with connecting? I'm going to give you an example, okay? When, like, for those of you who are in the 90-day challenge, and I offered 3,500 points for those of you who connect, well, I think it's 1,500 if you connect me to either email, Facebook message, or text to a chiropractor who would benefit from the boot camp. Even just that connection, I have now realized I haven't taught you how to do that. Does anyone get nervous when I say, hey, connect me with a chiropractic friend? Anyone? Yes, Maxine says yes. And Chris is shaking her head, yes. And Jen and Mandy. Okay. And so if I can teach you how to do it, then you'll do it with your practice members. So let me just go through the very first. When do you know you want them in as a patient versus really focusing on the partnership? So I want you to all think of this, and you've heard me describe it before, like dating, right? So when you started dating, and for some of us, I think dating was a game, and others, it was maybe a terrifying experience. I kind of thought it was a game. And so it was really about getting to know that other person. So the number one rule in connecting, be interested more than you're interesting. Write that down. And I know I've said it 100 times. The first law of learning is repetition. You must be interested more than you're interesting. Get to know them first with the mindset of, when I get to know them, they want to lean in to hear what I have to say. They want to lean in and reduce the distance between the two of us, minus social distancing. So be interested more than you're interesting. That's number one. Number two, how do I know that, when do you know that you want them in as a patient versus really focusing on the partnership? Well, so let's clarify that for a minute. I think anyone that you would want as a partner, you would have an interest in them becoming a practice member, right? So the question is really more so like, when do I start introducing the possibility of them coming into my practice? Maxine, is that accurate?
Yes, that's 100%
I
it.
unmuted you.
Yeah, that's 100% it. You got it.
Not there. Okay. So,
Yeah.
so this
Can you hear me
is,
now?
let me set up the situation that I think that she's referring to here so you can all tap into when this is happening. So let's say Jessie is a really well-known personal trainer in my community. And I've noticed what she's doing online, and she, you know, is working with my ideal practice members. So in my mind, I'm like, man, if I could have her talking about me to all of the people that she knows, that would be really good. Everyone tracking with me on that? Like, I want access to her database. So the very first thing I have to do is I have to have her as my fan. Well, having her as my fan is finding out what challenge is she having I can help her solve. Do you see that? Be interested more than you're interesting. Seek to find a challenge that they have that you can help them solve. Seek to find a challenge that they have that you can help them solve. So let's put this back into the situation with a personal trainer. So a personal trainer's design and what they're supposed to do is help people get in shape, right? If that person is injured, they can't get into shape, right? Or they have a reduction in how they want to do it. So one of the challenges with a personal trainer is, what if my people get hurt? Then they're not going to be working out. That affects my income, right? Another potential challenge with a personal trainer is people get bored and stop working out. Do you follow me? Or they don't see the results. And maybe they don't see the results because they don't have good flexibility. Maybe they don't have balance from side to side because they have, you know, obviously they're subluxated and so their muscles aren't balanced from side to side. Maybe they can't do the exercises because they don't have the capacity. So you have to look and think to yourself and even be asking them, like, what do you find is the number one thing that causes people to say no to your personal training? What is the number one thing that causes people to drop off from your personal training? If I had a magic wand that solved your biggest challenges in business, what would it be? Do you follow me? So the very first time you get to know this person, you're getting to know what are the challenges that they're having in their business. And know this about yourself. The very fact that you are in the boot camp means that you probably know 80% more about business than the majority of business owners in your town. Even if they have a successful business, you know more. You have access to an unbelievable resource here in the boot camp. So be proud of you that you're a member of this boot camp. And if you didn't know an answer to a problem they're having, you could jump in here and ask. Like, let's say that you reached out to personal trainer and they have a problem that you don't know how to solve. There are a bunch of boot campers in the boot camp who were personal trainers before they went to chiropractic college. Like, right off the top of my mind, Jessie and Melissa LaMarche come to my mind. And Veronica has a background in that as well, now that I'm thinking about it and I'm seeing names. So you could easily reach out to them and ask them. So be interested more than you're interesting. Look and see what problem are they having that I can help them solve. That would be step number 2. Step number 3 would be, hey, now, so let's say you like this person at this point and you're like, you know what? I really do think that, number one, I would want to serve them in my practice. And number two, that I would want access to the people that they're serving, and I would want them to be my fan. So then number three would be, hey, what do you think about joining me for a Facebook Live interview so that my audience can get to know you? And for those who are thinking about hiring a personal trainer, you would for sure be the one that they would choose. How does that sound to you? Now, if someone asks you that, like, hey, Jen, so what do you think about joining me for a Facebook Live so that my audience, if they're looking for a chiropractor, would choose you? Who would say no to that? Not one person would say no to that, right? So ask them. And then during your interview, you basically want to ask them, what's your story? Like, what made you decide to become a whatever, a personal trainer, a doula, a midwife, an orthopedic surgeon, an insurance salesperson, a whatever? Chris said I did an interview just before getting on here. Good job, girl. What made you decide to do it? Tell us one of your great stories. What do you love about it? And how can people get in touch with you? Those are the basic 4 questions. What made you decide to become that? What do you love about it? Tell us a great story or testimonial. What action do you want people to take? How can people get in touch with you? And please be asking these individuals for an affiliate link. So when you drive traffic to them, you get paid. Now, I would say 99% of them are going to be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Da, 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 da. Here I come with my business cape. They don't even know what you're talking about. And now when you teach them what an affiliate is, they're like, wow, she's really smart. Like, she knows stuff about business I don't know. Right? Or you can be like, hey, something that we use in the boot camp that, I've learned from the boot camp is a thing called the daily success sheet, or we use the sticky note system, or I just did a 90-day challenge and I grew my business by, 300%, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. Like, yes, this is your time to brag about what an awesome business owner you are. Because let me ask you something. Would you rather do business with somebody who sucks at business or somebody who's really good at it? Somebody who's really good at it, right? So this is another way for you to build the value that you bring to them and their life, is because you're a great business person. Now, we haven't even started talking about their healthcare yet. Why? Because we're interested more than we're interesting. How can I help you solve your problems? But Barb, I'm not really good at business. Okay, I am. There are 460 something in our boot camp who know things about business that can help you. Tap in. So when your mind goes to, I don't know how to do it, please let that be, who does know how? I'm going to give you all something right now. When somebody says to you, I don't know, your next response is immediately, if you did know, what would the answer be? So when you say that to yourself, if I did know how to help them solve X, Y, and Z, what would my answer be? And if you're still like, you know what, I'm at a complete loss. Okay, do I know anyone who knows the answer? Actually, I do. Go get the answer. Do not ever, ever allow I don't know to stop you. Definitely not stop you for long. You have tapped into the world's most amazing resource of help here in the boot camp. Be proud of yourself. You made an awesome decision. So did we get all 4 questions? Number 1, what got you into doing what you're doing? So they're going to tell their story. Number 2, tell us, why do you love it? Tell us a great story from your business, like whether it's a personal trainer or a doula, or all of them will have a great story. And then how can people best get in touch with you? And you can let them know ahead of time, these are the 4 questions I'm going to ask you. Most people would much rather find out, like, what are you going to ask them? They don't feel super confident on their heels. And then they look at the questions, they're like, I know those answers. So guess what? They already feel good about themselves. And your whole purpose here is to make them look like a superstar. So in a conversation, the person who talks the most feels the best about themselves, about the conversation. This is not your platform. This is your opportunity to make them look really good, because going back to that example, so let's say I asked Jen, hey, Jen, I want to introduce my audience to you as a chiropractor in case they're looking for a chiropractor. And then she looks like $1 million in that interview. What do you think she's going to do with that interview? Share it everywhere, and then put ideas in their mind. Hey, Jen, you know, you did such an awesome job in that interview. That would be a great thing to have on your website. I didn't think about that. Yeah, and you know, it's really easy. You can go onto Upwork and hire an editor, and they can make it like for pretty inexpensive. They can put your logo at the front and your website at the end. And now you have a great piece of content for individuals to quickly get to know you about why you got into it, what you love about it, a story, and how people can get in touch with you. Like, you could use that on your Facebook page and everything. So guess who goes along with her? This girl. So guess what? Invest in something like BeLive, because you can put your name. So you notice when I'm doing an interview, obviously my name, my logo, everything's behind me. And look at what the person I'm interviewing has next to their face. My logo. Don't make this difficult. Just follow my lead. I've spent a lot of money and tapped into amazing resources to learn how to do all of this. And now I'm teaching you. So Maxine, did that help you? How to do that? So then you get to know them, and you want to keep getting to know them. And then this is why it's so important to have events in your practice, right? Like, all of you should be doing at least one VIP dinner a year, at least. This is your opportunity to really shine. And I did them because I wanted to show off. True story. I wanted to be able to invite strategic partners who weren't practice members yet. I wanted them to see how amazing my tribe was of practice members. Just like when we do live events like the PEDS Boot Camp or the Women's Chiropractic Leadership or any of that, and I invite in other people, whether it's like, obviously we just had sponsors or other speakers, I want them to see how amazing you guys are. Like, I'm so proud of our tribe. Yeah, I want to show you off. I think you're incredible. So do the same thing with your practice members. And this is why then they would get to know. So then after that, you could say, hey, Jen, I loved your story about Kim and how as a result of getting adjusted, she turned her life. So let's say Jen was instead the personal trainer, how she followed your step-by-step approach and turned her health around. I wanted to share this story with you from my practice member, Chris. She reminds me a lot of you. She's a real go-getter like you are, blah, 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 blah. Check her story out. And this is where you would have a warm-up sequence that you would then now drip to this strategic partner that lets them get to know you better. And then in that warm-up sequence with this strategic partner, you would also invite them, hey, I want to make it really like give you a lot of confidence when you're sharing my office with others in chiropractic care. So it seems like the way to have the most confidence is to have you actually experience it for yourself. I'd like to do, what do you think about doing a chiropractic consultation just so you know what other people would experience? And we'll go through the whole thing. If during your report of findings, which is then your second visit, that's when I tell you, this is your problem, this is the severity and complexity of it, this is your plan. At that time, if you're like, hey, you know what, I didn't actually even think I needed chiropractic care, but based on what you're telling me, it seems like a really good thing for me, you can decide at that time. But at least wise, you would have the confidence in telling your friends about my office because you've been through those first steps. How does that sound to you? Oh, that sounds great. Because which one of, like, I feel way better referring to those services that I have used myself. Do all of you? Like, it doesn't feel good to tell you guys, go check this out, if I haven't used it myself. So this will make them have more confidence. So any questions in that part? Either unmute yourself or pop it into the question. Blair says, finding a good problem that they have to solve. Just ask them. And I find one of the easiest questions, if I had a magic wand and it solved your biggest challenge in your business, what would that magic wand solve? Or if you could turn one thing around in your business to make it better, what would that be? They'll tell you. I mean, if I ask you that, would all of you be able to come up with at least one thing? So let's say that I asked Bethany that question, and she's like, "Ugh, I just wish that I had an easy way to have a consistent flow of new business." Then I would simply go, "Okay, yeah, I totally get that. What have you tried so far that at Leastwise has worked once for you?" "Oh, well, you know what, I did this event and, you know, it brought in a bunch of people, but then I did it the next time and it didn't bring in anybody." Okay, interesting. So if I could show you a way to consistently do events where people show up, would that be interesting to you? Yeah, it would. Beautiful. So in the 56-day chiropractic boot camp to double your business, which is the premier coaching program and tribe within chiropractic, this is what my coach has taught us to do. Perhaps apply it and it will help. You know, I'm confident if you consistently apply it in your business, it will help you. Do you see it? Oh, I just wish I could stay consistent. I wish I could hire better. I wish I could train better. You all know how to do that. Give them a few steps and say, let me know how that works. Do you see it? Solve their challenge. Finding a problem they have to solve. So Blair, did that help you? They'll tell you what you want them to solve, what they want to solve. Getting some of them to respond back to me. Okay, Chris, let me open you up. Oh, she's gone. So I'll come back to that. Is anyone else having, oh, there she is. So Chris, tell me, like, walk me through getting who to respond back and how is the relationship started?
Well, like, I've sent out when I first opened my practice. Can you hear me?
No volume. All right, go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so I've sent out, like, when I first opened practices, like, letters to OBs in the area, and that didn't harm anything. And I've called and I've emailed and I've done some Facebook with people. Some of them I kind of know through, like, school and stuff, and so they've responded. But other times they're just kind of like, they say, "Oh yeah, we'll get to it," and then they kind of blow me off. So I get back to them and they go, "Oh yeah, well, I have this," and I feel like they keep blowing me off. If that makes sense. Or I just move on, or I keep trying. I need that 6 touches before anything comes back out of it. But
yeah, so number one, they're not blowing you off. It's just not their priority, right? So it's really important that we don't create this weird energy with them of being needy, right? So we always have to be in the standpoint if I have something so amazing for you, you just don't realize how amazing it is yet. Versus they're blowing me off. They don't like chiropractors. We have no idea. Like, I just start training yourself, and it's easy. Trigger, physiology, thought. They're blowing me off. They're probably not. And remember that there are 4 reasons that people don't refer. So there are 4 reasons that they do. They don't know the way, they don't know the how, they have no desire, we haven't asked them. So in building these relationships, they're in their daily life too. And if they don't think that you have a problem they can solve, why would they take time out of their busy schedule to talk to you? So right now their thought is, oh, here's another chiropractor wanting to get in my pants, right? Wanting to get access to what I do. But so far I haven't found that they can do anything for me. Well, can you turn that around with breadcrumbs by teaching them, hey, like one of the things that, that Mary, who is an OB, like Dr. Mary down the road, she, recently sent me this about a patient that she referred to my office. Then so-and-so, right? And then maybe a week. For those of you who watched me do the earthquake and knew that like it started with power, that was a trigger right there, but I could still see you, so that was a good thing. Sorry. Just like get my mind back in here.
Breadcrumbs.
Whew, yeah, breadcrumbs. So the idea that you have then when somebody doesn't respond is they're only responding because they don't know how I could help them. So then your mind immediately goes to, okay, let me teach them how I could potentially help them. That's through stories and proof, right? So then you're engaging both of their minds, and then just keep kind of dropping breadcrumbs and invite them to your events. And this is where having these automations and these email sequences make such a big difference. I'm not saying it's easy. Myra and I spoke yesterday and we're like, man, I wish we would have had all of these things built into our business from the very beginning, because I've met a lot of people over these last 3 years and I haven't done a great job staying in touch with everyone because I didn't have all of these things built out. So please, all of you, give yourself some grace. It's a lot. It's a lot to build out these things, but that's why we're just taking the next step. So right now you're learning, how do I start the relationship? And then we build in these sequences. Does that make sense? Did that answer your question, Chris? So all of you, please make sure you don't become the stalker. And you become the stalker in energy first, because you get triggered of, I'm being rejected. No, you're not. They don't know how you can be of value to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So how do I do that? Because as a new practice, I don't have the relationship with other OBs to like relate to them. Oh, I've helped with this one over here. So how do I like start even just one? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I would look for individuals in the boot camp, like Dr. Andrea has her practice inside of a birthing center. She has a bajillion testimonials, right? So one of my my colleagues, Dr. Andrea, her practice is inside of a birth center. So Andrea was also one of our speakers at the Peds boot camp. And this is a way in which, go ahead, Andrea.
I think the first pregnant patient you treat, make sure you connect with that OB and connect with that OB again and that OB again, and send them a letter regarding what you're doing, welcome their call, welcome them in the practice, because you do that 3 or 4 times, they start to see your name over and over again, and they actually start to refer from that. The doulas will do the same thing for you, invite the doulas in with the patient if you have the time now at the beginning and show them what you're doing, and then they'll start referring more. So it's really just repetitive, but not in a stalkish way.
Yeah, be the welcomed guest, not the annoying pest.
Right, but you have to connect with every single one's OB. Even if they found you on Google, you have to keep connecting with them and send them a letter. I drop bread and cookies off to my local OBs at least once a month from our local organic market, and I write a hand thank you letter, and I know their front desk now, so it's all about that.
And I think with what Andrea is saying too is, think about them and their practice. So many times I've talked to docs who are like, like Dr. Andrea used to refer to me all the time. Let's say Andrea was the OB, and then she stopped. Well, guess what? Her design and her practice isn't to build yours. But if you make it really easy and they have a referral gift packet and you teach them how to refer, like these are the ways that a patient would potentially show up that would that would benefit from a chiropractic checkup. I didn't say care. That would benefit from a chiropractic checkup. And this is also where you have to know, where does their success end and yours begins? What are they really good at? And what do they feel like, I can't do anything about that?
Right.
And that's where you pick up.
And they don't want the sciatic. They don't want their patients in pain. They don't want the pelvic floor distortions. They don't want the VBACs. They don't want all that. So the minute you help one of those mamas, I handwrite a thank you every single time to every OB that sends anybody over. And you know what? They remember it. They're beautiful cards that one of our receptionists hand makes. I have 2 people that make cards here. They're beautiful. And they remember a handwritten letter. And if you can't do it, have your CA do it. But if I can do it, you can do it. So I think that's a personal touch, and they remember it. It comes addressed to them at their practice. You sign it. At the beginning, I used to tape my business card in it, but they know who I am now, so I don't have to do that. I have 2 primary offices. I have one that probably sends me 2 or 3 patients on, well, not this week with COVID, but 2 or 3 patients on average a week. So
Who wouldn't love that?
and I have another one that they're not as good, but they're about one a week. And then on top of everything I do here. So, it's just saying thank you and showing and letting them know my door's open if you have any questions.
Yeah. And I think another thing, when you take a gift and just like, hey, I wanted to bring this for Dr. Andrea. Let's say that you sell oils. Make a roller oil with a little handwritten card that says, if you're like me, there are days that can get really long, and I feel really tired at the end of the day, and I want to go home and have energy for my family. In addition to my chiropractic adjustments, I roll this on behind my ears on my way home, and it just helps me kind of power down before I go and see my family. Keep
Sure.
on, we're doing a great job. We're in it to win it, or whatever. Remember them too. Care for them. And that's how you also have them be your biggest fan.
Yeah.
And that, I promise you, the 10 ways to stimulate referrals every day in your practice, all of you have access to that. All of you. They're not difficult systems, and they work when you're consistent. So make sure that your intake form asks, who is your health team? i.e., your personal trainer, your massage therapist, your nutritionist, your medical doctor, your OB-GYN, your cardiologist, your da-da-da-da-da. If they write down 10 of them, beautiful, send the MD referral letter. And that whole strategy is mapped out for you in week 26 of how to do the MD referral letter. And then there's a pediatric referral letter. I really can't make it any easier, but you have to do the work and follow the systems, all of you. So Andrea, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And the reason I say borrow Andrea's testimonials right now, to me, the testimonials about the power of chiropractic care. Do each one of us deliver it differently? Yeah, but it's kind of when you see on, has anyone noticed the increase of drug ads lately? Massive amounts of drug ads. So when they're giving that ad isn't for the MD in that town. It's an ad for the thing. And it's a person telling their story. Well, the same thing here. So while you're building up, borrow the success of others. Just don't say that was my practice members. I know none of you would, but that's what I would do. So Andrea, thank you so much for that. So let me see, just an interview before getting on here. Awesome. Can you repeat the second and third question? We did that. What were the 4 questions? Got that. Thanks, Elizabeth, for popping in there. How much would you spend per person on the VIP? We are trying to figure out a budget for that. So for those of you who don't know, you can also look in the boot camp for the elite dinner party, but here's basically what it was. For those of you who've been to our dinners, our VIP dinners before an event, you have kind of experienced an elite dinner party. It's a VIP dinner. Obviously at the Peds boot camp, we did the VIP champagne, and everyone kind of got to know each other. So with the elite dinner party, here are the main things. You have to have rules for who gets a ticket. Number two, make sure you choose your table captains well, and I'll explain that in just a second. It's an election year. Everyone who's running for office that you would vote for, please do not invite anyone to this that you wouldn't vote for, because you're endorsing them by having them present there. Either they can come or somebody from their office. And who are the other movers and shakers in your town that you want to show your amazing practice off to? So that could be the athletic director. Let's say the athletic director is really well loved. Let's say it's the fire chief, the police chief, the whatever. Who are the heroes in your town? You would invite them. For your practice members, their ticket to get in is they must bring with them somebody who's never been to your practice before. Now, this person could have come to an event, but they can't have come to their first visit. They've never come to your practice before. As for a first visit, they have to be on an active care plan, meaning they're staying consistent and you're getting paid. And then number three, and my rule was they had to at least been to a Strategies for Healthy Living workshop. If you're not doing them, then come up with another thing that you want them. There are 3 requirements in order to get the invitation. Then they got handwritten invitations, just like if you're going to a wedding. And it said RSVP, and it gave them an option. Do you want chicken or do you want beef? And who is the guest you're bringing with you? They only got the invitation because they had fulfilled those 3 things. That make sense? Then the VIPs, my rule was they could come themselves or send a representative. And I also gave them the opportunity to bring a guest with them. Then the table captains, so I'm just looking at the top of my screen. So let's say I had 10 tables. I want everyone at that table to be interacting. So let's say Jen, Andrea, Chris, Monica, Bethany, Kim, Jesse, Molly, and Cass. That's 10. They're my like VIP practice members. Like they refer a lot, they talk, they make everyone like they're my people. So I'm going to ask, hey Jen, at the VIP, at the elite dinner party, would you be willing to be a table captain? And she's like, yeah, what is it? So here's what it is. I just want you to be the hostess of the mostess to everyone who comes in, with the design of connecting people, sharing your story so that they want to follow in your healthy footsteps. And at the end of the night, when I give them an opportunity to schedule a checkup in my office, that they can think of, oh my goodness, if I get to meet amazing people like Jen, I for sure want to go into Dr. Barb's office. How does that sound to you? She's like, yeah, sure, I'll be happy to do that. That makes sense? So that's my table captain. And then now with something like Zoom, you can have a quick meeting with them before and ask them, how can I make you look like superstars that night? So at each table is going to be your practice member and their guest. And then you have a table captain who's keeping the conversation going. Then during the night, and you can have a sit-down dinner that's a little bit more expensive than a buffet. Make sure that the individuals who are helping you wherever you're having it, whether it's the owner of the restaurant or if you have it in a ballroom and a hotel, invite the main principals of that group to come and join you as your guest. You follow me? So whoever the event person was at the hotel, say, hey, would you come and be my VIP guest? You've been so helpful. I'd love to treat you to a wonderful dinner, and you could get to know my practice members so that when they want to do an event like this, they already have a connection with you. Connect. Do you see that? Connect. Connect. Oh, wow, I bet there's somebody in there who's going to have a wedding, or I bet somebody's in here who's going to have a baby shower. Then that person for sure wants to show up. Do you follow me? So then during the dinner, like when everyone first gets there, you have mingling, make sure you go around at the very beginning and say hi at every table and acknowledge your table captain. So all of you, make sure you get to know Jen. She's one of my favorites, and here's why. Blam, 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 blam. And then go to the next table. Hey, make sure, like, your table captain here is Chris. I adore Chris because of blah, 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 blah. And the reason I'm saying that is everyone at that table is now hearing how tight of a connection Chris, a patient, has with her doctor. Like, that's pretty cool, right? So you're already setting the tone for how different this experience is going to be. Does everyone get that? So not just, she's one of my favorites. She's one of my favorites because, like, I have a friend, she and her husband, every time they say, I love you, they say, I love you because, and they have to like say a word of affirmation about, you know, it's like, that's pretty cool. I like that. So then you're getting everything going. Then you start, if you're like me, then I like to pray with everyone before. So I pray, then everyone starts eating, right? They come up and get their food. While people are eating, you're individually going to call up each of your practice members, say a little bit of something about them. I know you introduced them to your table, but you didn't introduce them to everyone who was there. So I'm going to call up Jen. Hey, Jen, come on up. And then you're going to have a small gift for them. It's an individual different gift that showcases the fact that I know this person. So let's say I know that Jen is a huge Steelers fan. You know, maybe I have a Steelers t-shirt, or maybe I have, that one's for you, Bethany. Or maybe I have a bumper sticker or something. And especially because you want that person to turn around before you present the gift, wrap it so it looks really pretty. Remember, presentation is everything. They unwrap it and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you remembered. I love the Steelers. Of course I remember. You're important to me. You see it? All of this is connecting, building relationships, and giving that, wow, I gotta go here. So then you're gonna ask Jen to you know, like, what do you love the most about being a member of Eaton Family Chiropractic? Or maybe ask them, like, hey, you went to the Strategies for Healthy Living workshop 2 weeks ago. What really stuck with you? So this question that you're asking them is building the value for everyone who's not a practice member and is in the audience, that Jen and Andrea and Chris and Bethany and Kim and Molly and Monica and Jesse are helping build the story of why they want to come in. Then you give them a hug or, you know, elbow bump. They open the gift, they sit down. And then everyone starts eating, and then you call up another one and another one. So throughout the time that everyone is eating, you're presenting gifts, you're talking chiropractic, you're telling the story with your practice members to everyone else. Then when dessert is served, if you're doing it like separately, or at the end after you've gone through all your practice members, then you're going to say, all right, so for those who aren't practice members yet, stand up and share with us, what have you enjoyed the most about your evening tonight? Now, here's the deal. If you have elected, make sure you also, during your time together, the elected officials or the important people who are there, have them stand up and acknowledge them. Hey, I'd like Kim Kimsley to stand up. I know you guys all know Kim, but for those who perhaps don't, Kim is the director of whatever, the director at so Kim, thank you so much for joining us. And Kim, who is your guest with you tonight? Oh, it's my daughter, Mandy. Oh, Mandy, we're really glad to have you. Right? So you want to do that at the beginning so people get to know them. And then that important person feels even more important. And then at the end, you're going to ask feedback from those who aren't practice members, build the energy up of like how amazing this whole thing has been. And then say, listen, I want to reward all of you who are here tonight. You are here because the person next to you loves and cares for you. So go ahead, like either give each other a high five or give each other a hug. Awesome. Because of their love for you, you have an opportunity now to schedule an appointment in my office for your first visit. During that first visit, we'll do a consultation so I can find out about your health history, as well a very comprehensive analysis of your nerve system, function, as well as your spinal function, your overall health and well-being. This will be unlike anywhere you've gone before. I get lots and lots of details. I pride myself in being very thorough and comprehensive so I can give you a customized plan to regain and keep your health. Normally, if you went to a medical doctor for this and you had all of these tests run, it would be about, $5,000. As a result of being here, it's $100, but you have to schedule your appointment tonight. You're going to see Myra for that. As well, because you're here, you have the opportunity to schedule up to 3 of your family members and friends. So we're going to do it table by table. We're going to start with Jen's table. You can get up right now and go and schedule with Myra. When Jen's table is done, then the rest of you can. In the meantime, we're all just going to be sharing with one another. So if you'd like to share something that's on your heart right now, or an experience that you've had, go ahead and come on up, and you can have the microphone, or you can stand up where you are. Does everyone see it? They're amazing. And I think the least I ever made was about 15 grand. I also did over 30,000 from that one event. So when you ask, how much should I spend per person? Well, that a lot of that has to do with what is your budget, and what is your cost right now of acquiring a new practice member. So if your cost right now, whether it's through Facebook ads or marketing, of acquiring a new practice member is like $25, then I would spend at least that. Just make sure you have all of these steps in order. So that's called an elite dinner party. So the question is, like, when should I have it? Given COVID, I don't know. The other option that you could do is you could still do it, but do it kind of like this, and have food delivered to all of the people who would come. You follow me? Now, listen, whoever you would do that with, set up that, like, you're going to get all kinds of advertising from me. And if you want to make an offer at the end of, like, their next order is 20% off, by all means. What is the best rate that you can give me on a delivered dinner for 30 people? Does everyone see that? Like, you can do it now, because I don't know when it's going to be business as usual. I wish I had that date. I don't know. Did that help, Maxine? All right. Zach says, on that consultation with the strategic partner, are you going through a case history, x-rays, and physical exam, or more of an educational visit? No, I would treat them as if they were a new practice member, because you want them to experience what they're going to refer other people into your office for. And remember, always selling the checkup, not the care. Always the checkup. Always, always, always. Yes, Zach, haha. Chris, awesome, thank you. Maxine, thanks, yes. All right, so let me teach you real quickly on referring to the boot camp. Or let's say that you're connecting, I'll tell you a couple of really awesome connectors. I'm an awesome connector, by the way. I have no problem saying that because it's true. Garrett Gunderson is an amazing connector. Matthew Loop's also an amazing connector. And Dan McCoy. And this is as fancy as we've gotten. And this is how you would do it. So let's say Jen wants to refer her friend Bethany into the boot camp, because her friend Bethany is always like, practice, blah, 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 right? So this is a really easy way to help turn the into, oh my gosh, thank you so much for referring me to the boot camp, because now my practice is doing amazingly well. So if you get tired of complainers, if they can cut it through the video call that I do with them, and I don't think that they're going to be a drain on our boot camp, I will invite them in, and now they'll have something really positive to share with you, and something that is negative. So it would be this simple. So Jen would either send a Facebook message and would have Bethany and I and Jen, or an email, the same thing, or a text. And it would simply say something like, hey, Bethany, I'm connecting you with my coach, Dr. Barbara Eaton, who started the 56-day chiropractic boot camp. It's a great group. I love it because bam, 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 bam. I think you would really benefit from getting on a video call with her that really is designed to help you right from the start. Dr. Barb, you'll really love Bethany. She and I go way back, or, you know, like we were friends at da 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 da. Let me know, ladies, how it goes. Like, seriously, that's it. That's it. I'll take it from there. I got you. I've done this a million times, and I'm happy to help you. Now, I will tell you, I'm starting a and my hope is that this also, like, part of the reason I'm starting this now is because so many of you are looking for an additional stream of income. You want to be able to connect with your practice members and your potential practice members. So I always want to lead. So on next Thursday, April 9th, I'm starting a webinar, a weekly live webinar membership that is for boot campers, and everyone gets to be free at first, and then after that it's only $56 a month. There will be an affiliate opportunity for you that when you refer, then you get it for free. So I'll be explaining that. That's not the purpose of what I'm telling you right now. It's going to start next week. It's free. And the first one is how to have a success mindset in the midst of chaos. Anyone? How to have a success mindset in the midst of chaos. So it will be every single week on Thursdays from 1 to 1:30 p.m. Eastern. I will be reaching out to some of you and asking you, there will be a boot camp star every single week who will share his or her testimonial about what's happened in your life since you joined the boot camp. If you want to go ahead and just tell me, hey, I want to do that, don't put it in the comment section, please. Send me an email, send me a text, send me a Facebook message, and let me know. And then I'll match your story with one of the titles. I have them mapped out between now and November. So follow my lead, do something similar in your business. Then the fourth call of every month, the last live call of every month, at the end of it, I'll announce if you would like to learn more about the boot camp, then stay on the line. And then at the end of it, I will go through and explain, like, what is the boot camp? From there, they would have an opportunity to join the boot camp. So this is a sales process that you can do in your practice. This is a great thing to do, and for those strategic partners. Invite them to your webinar series. You could give them their first one for free if you wanted. And then you can be teaching not only health, but business strategies. You can be teaching relationship strategies. Like, what things are you good at that you want to be teaching your community? Here's a trick. Look at your whiteboard topics. Every week, your webinar could really be a whiteboard topic and a discussion. Don't make this complicated. So the cool thing is you're going to do list building. You're going to give your practice members an opportunity to be connecting with you via video for them to invite their friends to this membership site. In addition to that, for those of you who don't know, we did start a free Facebook group for boot camp with the design of bringing individuals together. You can do this for your own business, bringing them together, sharing the love with them, and teaching them what is it like on the inside. Do you guys see that? Like, I'm doing these things so you don't have to imagine, how do I do it? I'm teaching you by example so that you have a model right in front of you of how to make it work. Does everyone see that? Any questions? So here are some of the topics. How to have a success mindset in the midst of chaos. Then the following week is the terror barrier. Rejection proof yourself. Then, oh, so let me teach you something else that's happening. So then we're taking those topics, and those topics now I'll record and edit them to build another program, just like you all can do. Or you can edit them to be like 5 minutes long, the ones that are really good, and use them in your ads. You can use those 5 minutes and build a video library on your website that's for members only, for your practice members. Do you follow me? Impeccable leadership, building your tribe, conversion strong events for the remainder of 2020. So these are just your convictions save lives. Breaking the shackles of fear, growing your confidence so that you crave being out of the comfort zone. Why do I beat myself up? How do I stop beating myself up? Why is making you a priority so hard? Motherhood and entrepreneurialism, are they really a good match? How to have I already did that one. The 5 most powerful ways to rejection proof yourself, average or unstoppable, you choose. So even these topics you can do in your own business, because your practice members, they need to have a success mindset. I don't care what they're doing right now. Does everyone see it? So that is, mark your calendars for next week is the first one. It is free. April the 9th from 1 to 1:30. Any questions? Any lingering questions about how to be a connector? Remember, like Malcolm Gladwell talks about, you're either in a group of over here that doesn't really have a title, or you're a maven or you're a connector. A maven is a trendsetter. A connector is somebody who brings people together. And you will get better at it the more you do it. You will not be at my level. I've been doing this a long time. But tomorrow you can be better than you are today. So remember, who you were is not who you are, and it's not who you're becoming. Who you were is in the rearview mirror. Incredible opportunities are right ahead of you. All right, everyone. So we went really long on this, so there won't be a freshman call today. I think this is applicable for everybody, in addition to, especially if you're just getting started. So thanks for your attention. One more piece of housekeeping. Tomorrow, I am doing a call with the president of KeyBank. Let me just tell you, answering questions about SBA loans. The government just rolled out phase 4. So she's going to be talking about all of the different phases. How do you apply? What, like, just answering from a banking standpoint and from a distribution standpoint our questions. If you have specific questions that you want her to answer, you have to send them to me so I can get them to her. And that is tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. On Friday at noon Eastern, Dan McCoy, Jennifer Bleem, and I, they're both in the boot camp, we're doing the top 5 scams to watch out for during the COVID-19 crisis. There are mortgage scams, there are SBA loan scams, there are a bunch of them. And the last thing that you want to have to deal with on top of everything else is your identity being stolen or somebody getting your banking information, because banks right now don't have the time to deal with that. Like Lori was telling me, they have taken 1,500 employees within their organization that were doing other things, and now they're just doing SBA loans. 1,500, that's a lot. Tomorrow at the KeyBank is at 6 p.m. Eastern. And I'll make sure, and that's going to be a Facebook Live from my page. Facebook Live from my page. So of course we'll be sending out all of those. Oh, and then here's the other thing. On Tuesday, and if you're wondering if I'm tired of being in front of a camera, the answer is yes. If any of you were curious. Yes, I am. But I'll keep doing it. That's my job. That's what I do. Then on Tuesday, April the 7th, 4:30 Eastern, I'm doing a webinar with Jeff Soha, who was a connection from Garrett Gunderson. And he is going to go through, how do you find money that is available to us as business owners? If you're someone who is doing well now and the COVID hasn't affected you yet, and it doesn't look like it's going to, there's still money available for you. It's just no one's really talking about it. That's why I'm bringing Jeff on, so that he can help us find out, like, hey, if there's a way in which I can get some cash flow in order to invest it and put my business in a better place, that's what Jeff is going to help us with. So lots of help coming up. Brianna said, thanks so much for this today. I've been a little MIA and really struggling. I needed this to give me a kick in the butt to keep going. Yeah, absolutely, Brianna. And for all of us, like, stay connected. Stay connected, and know that, you know, for those of you who've been live with me throughout these last couple of weeks, you know, I'm having breakdowns too. My poor husband, you know, none of us have been here before. This is all brand new. And tomorrow there's going to come out with new information that we didn't know today. And then on Friday, it's going to be something different than what we know today. The Scam Talk is at noon, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 for you, Monica, on Friday. So the most important thing is, if you get frustrated, don't allow it to go on. So the steps to take when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling stressed, like, number one, breathe. 3 deep breaths in and deep breaths out. And if it were me, and I'm going to be better about doing this, when I'm like in panic and overwhelm, I'm going to go live and be like, hey, for all of you who are struggling right now, let's all just breathe together. And I'm going to lead by example of, this is what I'm doing in the freak out. I'm breathing, I'm going outside, breathing outside, looking at how big the universe is, thanking God that I still have oxygen in my lungs, looking around me, and just get a reset for the minute. Do something different, move. If you're still in that doubt and worry and fear, you've done breathing, that hasn't like gotten you out of it. Number 2 is get outside. Number 3 is get connected. So breathe, get outside, get connected. Come into the boot camp. Hey guys, I'm struggling. I need some help. These are what my thoughts are right now in the struggle. All of you remember why we're struggling is because we're getting triggered. There's a trigger. Physiology, thoughts, actions, consequences. I'm getting triggered, and these are my thoughts. And then we can all jump in and help you. And then you also have a record to now decide, like, actually, you know what? When I get triggered like that and I feel this in my body, we don't feel anxious, we feel in our body. This is the new thing that I want to have in my thoughts. And these are the new actions I want to take. Because this is either going to make us better or bitter. We have the choice every day. It's the difference of one vowel, I or E. Excellent, or I don't know what the I would stand for. I'll have to think about it. So thank you all. God bless you. Have a great day. See ya.